Japan's Forbidden Village. They say a village in Japan swallows those who enter. No road signs. No phone signal. No way back. Another lies beyond a tunnel where the law doesn't apply. And off the coast, a quiet island keeps a secret everyone knows but no one names. Tonight, we go looking for places that should not exist. Note: this video explores folklore, oral history, and documented disappearances. Respect local laws, private property, and safety guidelines. We do not encourage trespassing or thrill-seeking. Part 1: The Village in the Sea of Trees. The forest at the foot of Mount Fuji is called Aokigahara. Locals have an older name for it. Jukai. The Sea of Trees. Paths curl like waves. Compasses drift. Sound is swallowed. In this hush, one rumor has grown larger than the forest itself. Deep inside, a hidden hamlet waits for people who cannot return. The story begins with markers tied to branches. Hikers sometimes leave strings to find their way back. But in the rumors, strings lead inward, not out. They pull you to a clearing of old shacks and blue tarps. Smoke seeps out of stoves made from drums. Faces watch without a word. Who lives here? People who set out to end their lives, the story says, and then stopped. People who left home and never found the road back. A carpentered village built from scraps, outside addresses and rules. Cash only. No questions. If you ask for help leaving, you are told to rest. To stay. If you insist, the path simply fails to appear. Why do people believe it? Because Jukai truly hides things. The lava underfoot holds iron. Compasses wobble. Footprints soften, and fog erases distance. Police and volunteers have mapped trails for decades. And yet every year, the forest returns to silence. Shacks do appear. Camps do form. Some are empty when found. There is enough truth for rumor to root. Old records deepen the shadow. The mountain villages once practiced temporary abandonment during hard winters. Families moved between fields and charcoal kilns. Small hamlets went quiet. Some vanished for good. A missing village is not impossible here. It is ordinary history pushed to its edge. The strangest version says the hamlet is protective, not predatory. It does not trap you. It shields you. It is a hospital made of wood and kindness. You give what you can. You share rice and rainwater. No one asks who you were before the trees. When you are ready, the forest lets you out. No one can agree whether that is hope, or a deeper kind of haunting. Witness accounts, Jukai. Hikers report shoes lined up neatly beside trees. Police find ID cards placed in tiny piles, as if the owner planned to come back. Volunteer patrols tie tape to branches. Months later the tape is buried in moss. A camera is discovered on a stump with a full battery and no images. Every item is ordinary. Together they feel staged by the forest itself. What the maps show. Older prefectural maps mark charcoal pits and temporary huts. Some footpaths end at circles labeled simply, work site. It takes only one such circle to romanticize a village that no longer signs the census. The modern map streamlines, cleans, optimizes, and forgets. Legends move into the blank space and hang curtains. Part 2: The Village Beyond the Tunnel. A different legend waits in northern Kyushu. Ask for directions to Inunaki, and you will hear the same warning. Do not go past the tunnel. The rules end there. The script writes itself in whispers. A sign says the Constitution does not apply. The village punishes outsiders. Cars vanish. At night, drums beat from the hills. A gate stands where the road breaks, and someone watches from behind it. Most versions begin with the old Inunaki tunnel. Concrete, slick with water. Breath fogs in the cold. Locals avoid it. A murder really did happen there in the late 20th century. Reports were printed. Trials were held. The tunnel was sealed, then partially reopened. That much is public record. What waits beyond is not. The legend borrows from several real histories. Fukuoka's mountains once held mining hamlets, logging camps, and ironworking villages. When the coal industry fell and dams rose, communities moved or disappeared. Old maps show names that later maps forget. A small settlement near Inunaki did exist and was later relocated. An abandoned shrine stands in the weeds like a half-closed eye. These fragments allow the story to breathe. What do people claim to have seen? A village with no power lines. Houses of unpainted wood. A general store with empty shelves and a bell that still rings. Elder men who speak a dialect no one taught in school. A notice board with rules written in brush calligraphy. No telephones. No cameras. No questions. When the road becomes a path, you already belong to it. There is another reading, less gothic and more human. In remote places, privacy is an armor. Strangers point cameras. Outsiders treat homes as props. So the legend of a closed village becomes offensive words. Whether it is phantom or defense, Inunaki endures. It says something people need to say about boundaries. Witness accounts, Inunaki. Drivers who turned around at the tunnel say they heard a bell from deep in the hills. Hikers tell of a concrete postbox with no houses around it. A ranger remembers collecting an envelope sealed with twine and no stamp. There is always a small, precise detail. Rust color. The number of steps. The sound of water. Ritual and rule. In many mountain communities, hospitality coexists with caution. A stranger is offered tea, and then told the footpath is dangerous beyond the shrine. You are being protected, and warned, and sometimes tested. Urban visitors read the pause as hostility. Locals read the camera as disrespect. The gap becomes a ghost that both sides can point to. Part 3, The Forbidden Island. Travel east to the saw-toothed bays of Mie Prefecture. Here floats Watakano Island, small enough to walk in an afternoon. Fishing boats rock at narrow piers. Lanterns swing in sea wind. By day the island is quiet. By night, old stories wake. During the late 20th century, the island earned a reputation. Visitors arrived looking for a nightlife they had only heard about. Taxi radios whispered. Ferry timetables memorized new faces. Journalists came, wrote cautiously, and left even more cautious. The nickname that followed was simple and impossible to erase. People stopped saying it out loud. They switched to softer names. The Forbidden Island. The island that keeps a secret. What was the secret? Ask 3 people and you will hear 4 answers. Some speak of an underground economy that paid the rent and bought new engines. Some say outside men shaped the rumor to sell thrill and shame. Others insist the island's darkness was mostly imported, stayed briefly, and moved on. Reality was a braid of money, silence, and tide charts. None of that appears in tourist brochures, but it lingers in memory. Today the streets are calm. The docks smell of diesel and cuttlefish. An empty signboard sun fades by the harbor. The story, however, refuses to retire. Every coastal country has a rumor like this, the place you were told not to ask about. In Japan, the sea holds history the way the forest holds footsteps. Watakano is both a real community and a legend shaped by hungry ears. Witness accounts, Watakano. Elders recall nights when lanterns burned late and money was counted quietly. They also remember festivals, bonfires, and those same lanterns guiding children home. Memory selects for drama, regret, and pride in equal measure. The result is a story that feels sinful to outsiders and complicated to residents. Aftermath. When attention fades, a place must keep living. Young people leave for work. Ferries adjust their schedules. A new guest house opens on the windward side. The nickname does not vanish, it becomes a souvenir someone else sells. And the community learns to live with a shadow that tourists bring in their luggage. Interlude, why these places grow in Japan. Japan's map looks fixed. It is not. Volcanoes pile new ground on old. Rivers redraw fields. Cities swell, then empty, then swell again. When economics turn, villages contract into silence. Shrines stay after people leave. Mountain roads crack. What remains looks like a stage built for a ghost. There is also culture. For centuries, villages protected themselves by controlling who entered and who married. Etiquette was survival. Outsiders could cost you a harvest. Modern life loosened these knots. But old habits echo. So when stories arise about a guarded valley or a private island, listeners nod. It feels familiar even if they have never seen it. Folklore is not a lie. It is a route the mind takes through real terrain. Field notes. Closing, places that should not exist. In the sea of trees, a hamlet that shelters the lost. Beyond a tunnel, a village that borrows the past to protect the present. On an island, a rumor that paid bills and then refused to die. 3 different edges of the same country. Japan is famous for what is bright, neon, bullet trains, new towers. It is also shaped by what is quiet, abandoned paths, closed gates, rooms that wait. When people say these places should not exist, they mean something else. They mean we do not want them to exist in us. But they do. A map can forget. A story does not. End card. If you want more legends of hidden Japan, subscribe, share, and tell me which place to visit next, with a camera off and a notebook open. Until then, keep your string tied to the trail. Leave only footprints. Carry only stories. Good night.